In the headlines, Sultan of Sokoto promises to get justice for victims of Kaduna bombing. Northern lawyers to sue federal government over Kaduna accidental bombing. 3 dead, 11 injured as mining pit collapses in Zamfara. On the foreign scene, Somali president's son flees Turkey after a fatal Istanbul accident. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for joining. And now let's begin on this note. The Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar III, has called for justice for victims of the military airstrikes that killed over 100 people in Tudumbiri village of Igabi local government area of Kaduna State. The Sultan said these are the Emirate Palace in Kafanchan, southern Kaduna State. Bella Musa, complete report.
Reflecting on the incident that happened at Tudumbiri in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State, where dozens of people lost their lives, the Sultan urged the people to remain calm, assuring that they will ensure justice is done to victims of the attack.
But the point here is we must all know that this is the will of Almighty Allah, but also have to ensure justice is done to avert future occurrences. We will pressure the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to ensure that a very detailed and thorough investigation has been carried out to ascertain exactly what happened that Sunday, so that at least people will have rest of mind that knowing what really happened.
In his response, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, said the armed forces will remain focused in their tasks of ensuring peace in the country.
And also mention on the issue that happened at Tudumbiri. It is highly, highly regrettable. It is unfortunate. It's an event that should never have happened. Our task as members of the armed forces is to bring peace, is to protect the innocent, so that Nigerians can enjoy their country. But this has happened, and we will make sure that we take every necessary step to ensure that it does not happen anywhere again in Nigeria or any other place that we're operating. Every other person has continued to pray. Please let us not relent. We will have challenges, but we are one country, we are one people. We should never allow anybody or anything to divide us. Division is not what we stand for. We stand for unity, faith, and justice.
Sultan also pledges to support the Chief of Defense Staff to ensure peace in the country.
And I believe we have been working closely, and I want to assure you we will work much closer with him as Chief of Defense Staff to bring solutions to the numerous problems facing this country. I mean, security solutions. And like the MC said, that we use him to bring peace to Kaduna. Peace has run away from Kaduna, southern Kaduna, for so many years. I don't know why. Let's sit together, let's find out the problems. Let's all be honest with one another, face the problems squarely as one big family.
Abubakar also admonished the entire Muslim Ummah to refrain from insinuations on the Tudumbiri incident, assuring that they will follow up the matter to logical conclusion. Emir of Zazzau Ahmed Nuba Mali and that of Jama'ah Muhammad Isa Muhammadu appeal to the people to continue to live with one another in peace and harmony. Special prayers were also offered at the Jama'ah Jumma'at Mosque for the repose of the souls of the victims of Kurmimbiri incidents. From Jama'ah, Nikafancha local government area of Kaduna State, Bella Musa reporting for Trust TV News.
Now, in a related development, the National Security Advisor NSA Nuribadu and senators from northern Nigeria have passed a vote of confidence on the country's security agencies, despite the accidental military drone strike in Tudimbiri village of Igabi local government area of Kaduna State. While 85 persons were confirmed dead in the strike and scores were injured in the most recent military mishap, Nuribadu and the lawmakers are commending the commitment of security agencies to reducing the security challenges in the region. The NSA, who gave the commendation when he visited Tudimbiri village on a fact-finding mission, also assured that the bombing incident will not be swept under the carpet. He promised that a holistic investigation will soon commence to avert the recurrence of such an incident. The NSA commended Governor Obasani of Kaduna State for his display of maturity and leadership in handling the unfortunate incident, particularly in providing relief materials and other logistics to the victims. Now, the concerned Northern Forum formed by lawyers has vowed to institute legal action against the federal government, demanding the payment of adequate compensation for victims of Tudimbiri that were bombed by military airstrikes in Kaduna State. Over 120 villagers were killed by the strikes while celebrating Maulud. Speaking on behalf of the Lawyers Forum, Nafiu Abubakar explained that the forum will ensure that families that suffered irreparable losses as a result of the unfortunate incident get justice. Nafiu, who spoke while addressing newsmen in Kaduna on Saturday, urged the federal government to take immediate and decisive action to ensure a thorough and independent investigation into the incident. The forum, with over 600 members, extended their deepest condolences to the families who lost their loved ones during the tragic incident. In a sad development, no fewer than 3 artisanal miners have died while 11 others were injured when a mining pit collapsed in Dankampani, Anka local government of Zamfara State. Zamfara is rich in solid minerals which include gold, iron ore, limestone and granite, among others. The federal government and the state government had banned any form of mining activities and ordered security agencies to enforce the ban. Most of the artisanal miners operating in the state are operating without licenses and permissions to explore minerals. Now, the Ogun Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Corps (TRES) says one person died and another sustained injury when a truck lost control at the Alabun-Olorunda bridge along Owude-Iduroko Road in Ogun State, in the southwest area. Commander of TRES, Adekule Ajibade in Ota, said the accident was due to overspeeding. Ajibade explained that the accident, which happened on Friday evening, involved a Mercedes-Benz truck and a Bajaj motorcycle. He added that 4 persons were involved in the accident, in which 1 person died and 1 other person injured, while the rest came out unhurt. Ajibade said the Mercedes-Benz truck lost control due to overspeeding and rammed into a commercial motorcyclist, thus resulting to both plugging into the river. Ajibade cautioned motorists and motorcycle riders against reckless driving and excessive speeding to reduce or eliminate accidents during this Yuletide season. In the meantime, Governor Dikoroda of Kaduna State has directed the immediate suspension of a staff of Ministry of Education for alleged sexual harassment of a female student. The directive is contained in a statement issued by the Director of Press Office of the Secretary to the State Government, Abdullahi Aliyu Yaradua, and made available to newsmen on Friday in Katsina. It said the accused, Lawal Ibrahim, was then the principal of Government Day Secondary School, Tankari, in the Dandumi local government area of the state. The governor directed the Commissioner for Basic and Secondary School Education to investigate the allegation with dispatch, take appropriate action, and report back to the governor. The statement further directed the Commissioner of Police to investigate the allegation. This is News Update on Trust TV. Coming up ahead. Patients, caregivers decry surging drugs prices in Jos. Details of that and more after the break. Please stay with us.
A dark trade is thriving here, in the heart of Mararaba, a bustling satellite town that stretches into Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory.
There is one business for town, for inside Abuja. They do kidney harvesting.
Abbas is one of at least 6 young men from Mararaba that have followed this dangerous path.
One of my friends called me and told me that there is one hospital that they used to sell kidney.
Selling organ is illegal, is unethical. The repercussions are many. One, on the donor himself.
Bai kamata ka kama yaro ko shi ne ya gaya maka yana so. Bai kamata ka dauki yaro ba shawaran iyaye. To yanzu da sun mutu za a yi zubar da gawawakin su kenan.
I don't want me to bury my son. I want them to bury me. But as this thing happened, they're looking like just like ordinary picture.
The investigation is yet to be concluded.
The motive for the donation was money. And when they get the money, and the money will not be able to solve their problems, they ended up with regret. Most of them developed psychological issues. Some of them even got into depression.
Welcome to Trust TV, where we document the Nigerian story. Our programming showcases the rich culture and diversity of Nigeria. We strive to amplify the voices that make our nation unique. Our programming is designed to take you on a journey through the different tastes of entertainment in our country. We showcase the best of Nigerian culture, from traditional craft to cutting-edge technology. Our team of expert journalists are dedicated to unveiling the intricacies of our culture and telling the untold stories that binds us all. And let's not forget the food. Nigeria has diverse and flavorful cuisines, some of the favorites to millions across the world. What is Nigeria without its people, their passions and their talent? Trust TV is not just a channel, it's a platform that brings you closer to everything that makes Nigeria great. Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story. This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the news update on Trust TV. And here is a recap of some of our top stories. Sultan of Sokoto promises to get justice for victims of Kaduna bombing. Northern lawyers to sue federal government over Kaduna accidental bombing. Now, to other stories. Cases of students abandoning their academic pursuit on account of financial constraints and rise in living costs have become a common feature among Nigerian students. In this special report, Rahima Dokaji tells the story of Amin Abdurrahman, a passionate student of English education at the Yusuf Maitamusule University, Kano, who had to make the difficult decision of leaving the university due to financial constraints to shoulder the responsibility of caring for his aging father and younger sisters. Here's the report.
Aminu's dreams were shattered, not due to a lack of passion or potential, but because he couldn't afford to continue his education after the death of his mother, who was his sponsor. Aminu shared his story, shedding light on the struggles faced by countless young people in similar circumstances. According to him, their dreams and ambitions are stifled by circumstances beyond their control.
I would like to get a job, for example, any kind of job. I'm capable to do it, just to be dependent on myself, take responsibility of my father, my sisters, and I wish to take my education, just go further, as I said before. This is some of my goals in my life.
Experts in the field of education, such as Professor Ahmad Muhammad Soni of the Department of Economics, Bayero University, Kano, emphasizing the long-term consequences of interrupted education, stressing the significance of education in national growth, innovation, and competitiveness. He also highlights the challenges faced by interrupted students in finding suitable employment, excavating the issue of underemployment. 900 billion naira has been earmarked for student loan in the 2024 budget, raising the hope of students like Aminu, whose ambition is to acquire a university degree no matter the setbacks. Rahima Shehudu Kaji, Trust TV News, Kano.
Patients and their relatives in Jos, the Plateau State capital, are decrying the surge in the prices of drugs and other medical supplies in the country, saying the situation is getting worse by the day. Some relatives say unless quick action is taken by the Nigerian government to address the situation, the lives of many patients remain at risk of being lost. Adomusa completes the report.
It has become a common phenomenon to witness a daily increase in the prices of goods and services in Nigeria. This trend has impacted all aspects of life, compelling Nigerians to adapt to the prevailing economic reality in the country. However, the escalating cost of drugs and other medicines in Nigeria has impacted treatment at healthcare centers from primary to tertiary levels, affecting both public and private hospitals. Patients and their relatives are now finding it difficult to cope with these expenses.
Talking about medicine, you can imagine right now, okay, but in Jos, the Harmattan season, I went to go and buy drugs recently. I know how much I bought cold, catarrh and cold medicine. It was way too expensive, more than the amount I used to buy. Things has to change. The government are there taxing people that have companies that are producing the drugs, and we as citizens, we cannot even afford the money because the economy and everything is high.
Yeah, it's really very high because there are some drugs that even in the hospital, most of the drugs you don't get it here. We have to go outside to buy. The drugs that you buy maybe in the hospital, if they were to sell it for you in the hospital, maybe at 3,000. You might go outside, it's 5,000. So how can somebody afford that? Gloves that you have to buy at, let's say, hand gloves, in the hospital you sell it for you at 2,600, 2,800. Outside you buy it at 4,000. So what are most of, since we normally buy most of our drugs outside, is really telling on everybody here.
Gaskiya is terrible. It's terrible. People are really suffering. Things are not going well. There is no plans on ground to make things easy for the common man. We're suffering, like we were in the hospital now, and things are not going well. Things are very expensive. We're just praying that things will get better. But things are terrible and very difficult for us.
Sanusi Kabir is a pharmacist at the Nalele pharmacy in Jos. He speaks on the sharp increase in price of drugs in the country.
What we observe, I can say maybe fluctuation in dollar rate is one of the major factors, because maybe every single week we have a different price in dollar and it affects the market. So whenever the dollar increase, the prices increase. And when the dollar comes back, I don't know, nothing happens. And then secondly, I'll go with hike in price of petroleum, the price of PMS, because if there is increase in cost of transportation, definitely it's going to affect the prices of items in the market generally, not necessarily drugs.
Following the price surge, relatives of caregivers and patients say it is now difficult for them to afford the prescribed drugs, a situation that puts their sick loved ones at risk of death. But Dr. Longpab Abdulaziz, a chemical pathologist and lecturer at the Jos University Teaching Hospital, explains the implication of not taking medication as prescribed by the doctor.
You are taking the drug for a particular reason, for a particular medical condition. Now, you are not taking the drugs as prescribed. This prescription is actually based on scientific evidence, and that is what the dosage is, what is actually needed to take care of the sickness that is wrong with you. Two, the disease, some drugs, for example, antibiotics, where you're supposed to take for certain durations, when you give patients those drugs, and if they don't take it as prescribed, what will happen is that they will create a window where a bacteria who is supposed to be dead after a certain time will not actually die. The bacteria will now have a window to develop some resistant features, so that when you continue taking the drugs, the drug may not work, or when you take the drug another time, the drug will also not work. Now, another serious implication for not taking your drugs as prescribed is when you have certain diseases like hypertension, asthma, that can give you an emergency state once in a while. Now, if you cease taking your drugs and you go into an emergency, then that risk you have taken can actually lead you to death. And
patients and their relatives are, however, calling on the government to intervene by addressing the high cost of medicines and medical supplies to ensure access to quality healthcare services in the country. Adomusa, Trust TV News, Jos.
And in business, the National Pension Commission, PENCOM, says it has recovered 24.8 billion naira of funds unremitted by employers in the third quarter of 2023. Chief Executive Officer of Pension Funds Operators Association of Nigeria, Okuchi Aguda, disclosed this in Lagos at the media parley with the theme, "At the dawn of 20 years of pension reform, what are the gains?" Aguda said PENCOM recovered 23.3 billion of such funds in the third quarter of 2022. While it recovered 2.23 billion in the third quarter of 2021. He said also the pensions industry recovered an asset under management of 17.35 trillion naira in the second quarter of 2023. PENCOM, according to Aguda, made investments of 349.97 billion naira in infrastructure in the second quarter of 2023, up from the 333.0.2 billion invested in the corresponding quarter of 2022. Investments in infrastructure, he also said, represented a 2.02% of total investments made in the second quarter of 2023. Meanwhile, the Group Managing Director of the Nigeria National Petroleum Company, NNPCL, Mele Kyari, has revealed that there are over 4,800 illegal connections at the company's pipelines nationwide. Kyari, who made the disclosure while appearing before the Senate Committee on Appropriation, apologized for his inability to appear before the committee earlier. The Group Managing Director of NNPCL, while reacting to the spate of crude oil theft in Nigeria, stating that between June to November 2023, the company has paid a total of 406 billion naira into the Federation account. Kyari maintained that era of subsidy has gone for good, noting that before the end of the year, Port Harcourt and Warri refineries will be functional, while that of Kaduna will be up and running before the end of 2024.
There will be total oil demand of up to 100 million barrels per day of oil equivalent in the energy mix. So oil and gas will not vanish. So oil will be bought for different purposes. It will be converted for different chemicals and different materials, but production of oil and gas will continue, but in a very cleaner way. And the countries that will survive this are those who are able to produce cheap, efficiently, and quickly to the market. And our plan is to make sure that we become a player in that space so that our cost becomes low and people will buy from us.
The 2024 appropriation bill, the budget of renewed hope, laid before us by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is predicated on the oil benchmark of $77.86. And also the output projection is 1780 million barrels per day in terms of crude. And as you're all aware, there are a lot of uncertainty in the oil markets. The oil price is coming down and the benchmark is going up.
And now away from Nigeria, the Somali president's son, who allegedly killed a motorcycle courier in a traffic accident in Istanbul's Fateh district, has fled the country after the incident. According to Turkish media reports, Mohammed Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, the son of President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, crashed into Yunus Emre Gocha with the car he was driving on November 30th the report said on Saturday, quoting the official police report. Paramedics who arrived at the scene took him to hospital, but Gocha, a father of two, died on December 6th. The police report on the accident said the motorcycle rider did not violate any traffic rules, as the car driver, who is the president's son, was found to be primarily at fault. Police released Mahmoud without any bail conditions after preliminary investigations into the accident, said daily newspaper Chomriet. Police went to the suspect's home only to find he had been gone since December 2nd, but Costa Ehaba reported. Istanbul Mayor Ekrem Imamoglu criticized the authorities for allowing the suspect to leave the country. And with that, welcome to the end of the Trust TV News Update. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and our YouTube live stream for more news, programs and documentary. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.